Howdy. You don't need more knowledge. You just need some wisdom because knowledge won't make you rich. Have you ever noticed the internet has made knowledge almost free? We used to think lack of knowledge was why so many people seem stupid, but it turns out that's just how people really are. Seriously, with YouTube University, if you want to do anything, you want to build a deck, go to YouTube. You need to know how to replace a transmission, go to YouTube. You want to learn how to speak Thai, spend 6 months on YouTube so you can go to Thailand and realize everybody speaks English. If you need to convince yourself that buying a flamethrower is a reasonable life decision, it's also on YouTube. Knowledge has never been cheaper, yet financial freedom seems rare. Maybe the problem isn't knowledge, it's wisdom. And this part of the video is for the nerds in the audience. I'm the nerd, it's me. We have to understand that there is a difference between knowledge and wisdom. If you're a gamer, you know that there's a difference from D&D between strength and constitution. They're not the same thing. Intelligence and wisdom, not the same thing. Now, this is really for those nerdy nerds out there. There is a difference between dexterity and agility. One of those is Hasbro and one of those is Blizzard. But if you don't understand the nuanced difference between abilities that you have, you won't know which skill to level, what to build on. Because almost everybody focuses on knowledge. Is it a podcast? Is it an audiobook? Like Financial Freedom for the Lazy Person, available on Audible, Amazon, and Kindle. Is it YouTube University? Knowledge without wisdom is almost useless. You can quote facts. You understand things. But if you understand, here's the nuance. Knowledge, and I'm going to relate this to real estate after these first few examples, but knowledge is knowing that Dr. Frankenstein made a monster. Wisdom is knowing that Dr. Frankenstein is the monster. Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing that a tomato does not go in a fruit salad. Knowledge is knowing that his name isn't D.B. Cooper. Wisdom is knowing that your retirement plan needs to have more than a parachute that you at least know how to use. So let's go over some things in investing, real estate, financial freedom, where the difference between wisdom and knowledge becomes clear to me, and hopefully I can make some of this clear to you. So knowledge says, I know how credit cards work. You got interest, minimum payments, reward points, grace periods. Wisdom asks a different question. Wisdom says, how do I make the credit card company pay me? I use the rewards. I pay it off every month. I never carry a balance. Now the bank is funding your vacation instead of your stress. Knowledge is knowing what interest is. Wisdom is receiving it instead of paying it. This one gets me attacked in the comments, so come at me, bro. When people say, I can qualify for a student loan, congratulations, you have some knowledge on how the world works. You're 18, you can borrow $100,000 to go get a degree that might help you. You can't borrow $20,000 to start a business. You can also qualify for a parachute, but that doesn't mean you should go join D.B. Cooper. Wisdom says, what income will this degree actually create? And how can I project that 4 years in the future? It's very difficult. Wisdom also says maybe a trade would be better, right? Plumbing, electricity, truck driving, welding, all of these things. So here I'm going to flip this script to one that I haven't heard anybody else talk about. How about instead of, I'm going to go to college because I want to be a well-rounded individual. That's the retarded thing they teach you in high school that you can do. But you're going to go to college to start a career. Well, the college degree doesn't actually help you in as many careers as people think. Oversaturation, not requirement. Whatever the reason is, choosing the wrong degree can be an aspect of it too. But imagine, in a world, if you will, a place where people became financially free, got a job right out of high school, joined the military, learned a trade, became financially independent, spent a decade working, investing, and then went to college. Imagine taking courses because you were interested, because you want to learn that, because that does make you a well-rounded individual. That doesn't make you hireable. I used to run a nonprofit, TPS, Transportation Placement Services, had contracts with a little over 1,200 employers. And you know what the number, the top one or two, I will not hire that person things are? If they have a degree. Now, there were some jobs where the degree was required. I'm not saying don't get one, but I'm just saying don't think it means you're going to get hired. Because once you have financial freedom, that liberal arts degree, that gender studies degree, that sociology degree, or if you're stupid and you go to Chapman University and you get a criminal sociology degree and you realize that when you get hired by a police department, you can't talk about it because your chief hates anybody who went to college, you don't talk about it. Order of operations on college is different than what most people think when you insert wisdom instead of just knowledge. How about the eighth wonder of the world? I understand compound interest. A little bit adds up over time, but wisdom also asks questions of which side of the compound interest equation am I standing on? Am I paying it or am I earning it? If an asset earns more than it costs, sure. But if you're putting money into a retirement account, and you say, I'm only paying 0.8% or 1%, well, let's look at compound interest over 20 to 30 years in the normal retirement scheme that people plan and see how much compound interest the people who manage your accounts are making. Compound interest doesn't always work the same. Then this one is my favorite. This is the argument that Robert Kiyosaki kicked off in 1997 when he started his chain of at least 16 that I know of, but probably more books now. In Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he made the outrageous claim that got him attacked. I mean, I can see attacking him now. He's kind of gone a little crazy. But the first time he said your house is not an investment because people had heard for hundreds of years that the place you live is the largest investment you're ever going to make in your life. But wisdom says, my house is where I live. My investments pay for my house. Now, you're investing your time at a job, sure. But what if it's your investments that you purchase pay for your house? If your house sends you a bill every month, it's not exactly working very hard. It can turn into an investment. You can tap the equity, one of my least favorite things that people ever say, because that's not what you're doing. You're adding debt to an existing asset. You can sell. You can take out a HELOC. You have all these options that a house can become, but it very rarely works like a paycheck. And yes, house hacking adds another element to that. But this one, Dave Ramsey says you shouldn't even have one. But how about the people who have a great credit score? Knowledge says, I've worked hard to get a great credit score. I'm winning. Dave says, don't do that because it just gives you more opportunity to go into debt. Well, if you go into debt and you have a good credit score, you get a lower interest rate, better terms. You have more options. More people will lend to you. But if you have an 820 credit score and it gets you that low rate on that stupid truck you bought that you don't use for work and you can't get dirt on it, even though that's what four-wheel drive is for, or you have a good interest rate on that duplex that pays you more than it costs you every month. And it pays you for the repairs that place is going to need in the future. And it pays you for the vacancies that it's going to have. That credit score can be used for all kinds of things, but different choices give you different outcomes. So wisdom says, what am I using my credit score for? It isn't automatically smarter. Sometimes the smartest loan is the one you never needed. A great credit score gives you options. Wisdom decides which options you choose. Knowledge says, I tracked every dollar when it came to taxes. I gave every tax, every bit of understanding that I have, I gave it to taxes. I understand, this is what people say, tax brackets. Then you have the people who don't research tax brackets and say, I don't want to work overtime because that means I give more money to the government. Well, it's a graduated tax bracket system. Wisdom says, why does the tax system reward certain behaviors? We have a tax penalty system, not a tax incentive program like people say. We have, you don't want people to smoke. Cigarettes get taxed higher. You don't want people to drink alcohol, which was the alcohol store calling me to tell me that our vodka is in. Prairie vodka. That's what you get when you're in Texas. So wisdom says, why does the tax penalize certain things they don't want you to do? Like working. One of the highest forms of taxes that people say is income tax. But businesses pay corporate tax after expenses. You pay income tax before expenses. It'd be kind of nice if you could say, well, I don't want to pay taxes on the money I paid on my house because that's tied to property taxes. I don't want to pay taxes on the money I paid to rent because the landlord is going to pay rent on that income. But that's not how the world works. The system is set up to go, if you work, they're going to tax you the most. If you run a business and employ people, we're going to tax you less to incentivize your business to grow so they can tax more employees. If you have investments because we need innovation and we need housing, we might even tax you zero, or let you carry forward paper losses every year and actually make money that profits. Taxes is the one that kills me. So many people say tax the rich, and then they try so hard to become the rich. I want you to think about this from the perspective of somebody who was in a pretty bad position for 40 years of their life. I had very little knowledge of money. I basically let my spouses run the finances. And yes, that word was pluralized, not finances. But at 40, I found myself divorced, finally in charge of my own finances. A single parent, found out about $89,000 in bad debt in my name I didn't know existed till the divorce. Got laid off from law enforcement and was teaching at a CDL school making $17 an hour. I had to start making choices. I had to start thinking, first, I need some knowledge. Yeah, you got to do some research. You got to figure out how things work. But then you have to actually apply some wisdom to it. You find wisdom through experience. And if you want to pay the idiot tax as much as possible, just go learn all the wisdom on your own. Or you can get around people who've already done what you're trying to do. Find the local REI meetups. Join the One Rental at a Time community on Michael Zuber's school or his YouTube channel, One Rental at a Time. Get around the people who've done it because you can absorb the knowledge from somebody else's mistakes. Then you can apply the wisdom because you can actually bounce it off of them. I hope this video at least makes you think. And if you want your questions answered, every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, I do a video that lasts as long as the questions do. But some people would never click on a 2-hour video. These shorter videos that you might be watching are the intros to some of those longer videos. And then the rest of those videos, if you want to see what questions were asked and what answers came up, I'll see you on a Tuesday.